This is it.
This is it.
Episode 6. The Gentlemen's Club.
The Djentlemen Club podcast.
Gentlemen's Club podcast, folks. You're
For
here.
those of you, if there's any people that don't, like, they're just watching because we're just random and you don't know that we're in a band, so.
We're in a band. We
That's
play
why we called
music.
The Gentlemen's Club podcast because gent is a...
Onomatopoeia.
What'd you say?
It's an onomatopoeia for the sound of a palm muted, distorted chug guitar.
Yeah, but would you say it's a genre at this point?
Yeah, we're like a subgenre. It's like of metal. It is a known thing.
Yeah, right. So, sadly,
It's kind of like a sound. Like if you use a particular sound.
I kind of don't like
gent. Yeah, it's very like antiquated when people start labeling things like gent, and especially if it's used derogatorily.
I just don't. Yeah, because, okay, we went to. One of the times we were supposed to play a show before you were in the band, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, it was like mostly alternative bands. And, we went to the show that we were supposed to play. I forgot why we didn't play it. I think. Was Anthony in the band? Somebody couldn't play, and we just didn't play. And, we went to the show, and one of the bands that were there, they were walking by, and they were like, yeah, there was a band called Djentlemen that I was supposed to play, but they were like a genty band, like, like he was like making fun of it like that, and I was just like, see, that's why I don't like it.
Yeah, and that's just the thing, is that that's just what it is, and
because that's definitely not all. There is that though.
There's definitely an aspect to it, but the other thing too is about using it right. It's anything can be overused. I mean, you can say with a lot of pop punk stuff, it's all the same.
I wouldn't sneer at somebody if they're like, "You play gent songs." I even hashtag gent most of the time because I know.
Yeah. Oh, it's also like that's just the thing is the people who surround like gent music or whatever you want to call it, like gent. I feel like it has like a higher respect on musicianship than other general music.
That's
so
true,
even if you make fun of it for having like this very like similar sound between genres, it's like still if you look what they're doing rhythmically or the speed that they're playing, generally it's above the musicianship that you're presenting.
Do people call Meshuggah gent?
Meshuggah was supposed to be like the sound that was coined after.
Yeah, but
like the sound of Meshuggah.
Does that mean people call it Meshuggah gent?
They must be.
Right?
But even though people consider gent like those big spaced out like bam boom boom bam bam boom,
like volume.
That's what they say. Yeah, even though Meshuggah is like it's like all this super fast stuff. It's not like
they have some parts that are like that though.
But yeah, generally I think that would be considered gent. The gentiest, maybe.
Yeah, definitely gentiest.
There might be the gent forefathers. But yeah, it's kind of a funky thing like that.
How long have they? Would they be a 70s band? Is that how old they are? It's like more. No, right? No.
I think they're 90s.
90s.
I think Dream Theater was a 70s band though. Maybe 80s.
Yeah.
80s. It has to be 80s for Dream Theater.
I just know Meshuggah's old though, right?
They've been around. Maybe Meshuggah might even go back to the 80s.
Probably. They just weren't big yet.
Yeah, what was their first album, you know?
Is that really their first album though?
It was... I don't know, we're getting dead space here. We're getting dead air thinking about Meshuggah albums.
Okay. That's how it goes though.
That is how it goes. That is the business.
How the music business goes. What is that? Juicy
domination. That's what we're into.
Connoisseurs here.
Juicy stuff and domination stuff. This is from the Ninkasi Brewing Company. My apologies on the pronunciation.
Alright, David. I'm going to put you in a scenario right now.
Okay.
And you have to tell me what you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we go to India on tour.
Okay.
We're playing, it's fucking awesome. And then, like, we have like 2 days off, and we're walking around the cities and stuff, and then like, we want to go to a meditation place.
Okay.
Would you be down to go to that in general?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we go to the meditation place.
Okay.
We get there and we like, we're sitting there with wherever we're at.
Okay.
Like doing the hums and shit.
Okay.
And then they pull the ayahuasca out. I obviously take it. Gabe probably takes it.
Okay.
Would you take it?
No. No, I would not.
That's respectable.
I think it's not necessarily that the fact that I'm closed-minded to something like that. It's just A, I haven't done any research,
Okay.
right? Is then B, that does not. I would not want to be in some other countries tripping off some stuff I've never used before. That seems like a bad trip waiting to happen, especially if I'm like with all these dudes that are all just humming and stuff.
And they're shamans. They know what's up. They know what's up though.
Yeah, but if I'm on ayahuasca, they might be fucking anything else. You know, you don't know what you're thinking.
They guide people on journeys, dude. That's their job. And they don't get paid for it, probably.
Yeah,
They're just chilling.
just being a part of the monastery.
Hopefully.
What is it up there? I don't even know. I'm so.
I know there's
interested in
ones
the
that you
world.
can pay for, but
That seems like a lie. That seems like a scam.
it's not. But it's like the shamans are like,
Yogis and stuff.
yeah, rather than being like legit, like living off the land and shit, like the actual shamans. I'm
They're
talking
living
about
off their students.
our shit was like if we found a dude in a hut. And we
Right,
were like,
right. Like this is like a real, like authentic.
like if we were actually doing it, like you know, living out in the woods, in the cuts. I would 100% do it in the cuts.
That's a trip. That is a trip.
Very big trip.
I feel like if I did drugs in a place where people I didn't know, I'd also be afraid of someone like
Stabbing me.
molesting me or something, like
I guess
taking
that's
advantage of me.
because it lasts a while.
It lasts a
Compared to
while, and
DMT.
if I'm like out, they just like start like touching me or something, doing something wrong.
That's true. Well, you can watch us then.
That's the thing, babysitter rule. Just someone would just light his blunt.
Probably he probably
And
wouldn't
he
do
wouldn't do
it.
it. I don't think so. Maybe. Diamond plays if he's in the right mindset.
Fuck, dude. Maybe for you too, David. You don't know.
That's what the Beatles did, right? Didn't the Beatles go to India and they just tripped out and
I'm sure they probably did
did a bunch of
ayahuasca
meditation?
because they did LSD all the
They
time.
were huge into LSD.
So I don't think they would be like, no ayahuasca, man. They'd be like, fuck yeah, brother.
Probably.
Hell yeah, dude. But
Craziness.
yeah, it would probably hurt, but I'm down. I'm down for it.
You know they're not going to take you to the doctor out there, dude.
No,
If you
of course
get fucked
not.
up, you're done.
I don't think anybody's died, right?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Who knows? Like I said, I haven't done my research. I want to know.
Yeah, I didn't really like look it up, but I heard a lot of people talking about it. So
Someone watching this is like an ayahuasca advocate. They're like, what?
I believe in it. So
I don't think I know. I know people who've done like the Native American like sweat lodges.
sweat lodge. Like, does that get you like? Do they put shit in it?
Yeah, well, it's like you go into like the wood area and they have the fire.
Yeah.
They get it really hot, so you sweat, and then sometimes I guess you can like they'll do like rituals where you
Put shit
see
in the
stuff and they'll put like drops in your ears and your eyes. They'll make you trip.
Crazy.
It's like ayahuasca-esque.
It's peyote most likely.
Probably.
That's what they usually do.
But they'll put it everywhere apparently, and then you just trip out in this smoke lodge and you head out.
That's what it is, though. That's your journey right there. People in ancient Greece did it.
I feel like if you go into it though, expecting to have some sort of revelation
No.
or something,
It's not
And if-
100%.
well, I'm not even like that. Like I feel like if you were like, okay, I'm gonna go in here and trip and see my ancestors as a wolf, and you go in there and you take the drug, you'll start to see it would start to manifest like what you're projecting. But I feel like if you just go in there with the attitude of like this is just bullshit,
It probably wouldn't even
it
do
probably will not
Oh.
affect you as much at
As
least.
much,
Or
yeah.
if you did, you'd probably not be having it.
That would probably switch it though, like a DMT trip, which is only like 15 minutes or
Mhm.
something. So you're not there for that long, and I don't know if you can make yourself stop it, no matter how much you don't believe it. It's gonna happen.
DMT is one of those drugs too, where a lot of the people who I know who've done DMT, they sound ridiculous when they talk about it.
Of
Like,
course they do.
So ridiculous that I'm just like, dude, I will never touch the stuff because you sound crazy.
Well, after I do it, I won't sound crazy. I promise.
Yeah. Maybe it's just like repetition, or a lot of people were convinced they talked to like alien life forms.
I mean,
They were transported to like another dimension, which it is what it is. But it's like,
Yeah.
don't you think that's the effect of the drug to make you feel a certain way? Do you really
either way, that's the experience though, and you're gonna experience something as crazy.
if you feel like it's real, perspective is reality kind of thing. Like, okay, it is real for you. Like, there's
Yeah.
an alien that you can never talk to.
And it like if it makes you better off after. If you're just like absorbed in it and you're crazy
Mhm.
after, that's not good.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's real or not, it's not good. But if you're like, I don't know, if it like clears your brain out more, that's a good thing. Because it doesn't kill you. It is not like, I guess you can kill yourself on it, maybe. Like, jump off a bridge.
That's actually a thing too. Yeah, being fucked up and doing something.
But like doing it, you won't die, and that's why DMT is like 15 minutes. You're gonna have to try to get to the bridge, and by the time you get there, you're like, what the fuck? So, can't teleport. Lock yourself in a room.
And see, that's the thing is like going in a room.
I don't think you're about to get up. You'll probably just be like,
yeah, I don't think you're conscious or anything. I think you're just knocked out or whatever.
yeah, it's having a crazy dream.
Have you ever seen the videos of people doing what is it called, salvia?
Salvia, yeah.
Yeah, that shit looks horrible.
Salvia doesn't look very great.
That looks terrible.
Yeah, no.
I have
People say it's weird.
I have a buddy who did it, and he said it was ridiculous. He said he was like a circus clown, and he was on like a hamster wheel that had the essence of it had the essence of circus colors, but it was all black and white, so it wasn't actually circus colors. It just had like the feeling of circus colors. And he was a clown and he said he was just doing that for a really long time, and then at some point he got off the wheel and he like regained consciousness, and everything was like shapes. Like he could see, like if it was a tree, he would see the trees in rectangles and triangles, and like he could see like geometric figures and everything. And he was just tripping balls for a while, and that was his experience on it.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But he said it was like a very strange experience that didn't do very well.
God, that's like that video. You seen it, right? The video of the Microsoft Paint dude.
Oh yeah.
I showed you, right?
That was so funny. It's like, what's the meaning of life? It's like, this is it, mate. It's Microsoft Paint. It's like, what the hell is Microsoft Paint?
He said Microsoft Paint. God, Microsoft.
That shit's so funny though. Well, it's funny too because for the cartoon, that is where everything is made. Like that is it. Like
yeah, that's they were like explaining
it's just
their
a
own
Microsoft
life.
Paint blank template. Oh, what the fuck is that? That's Microsoft Paint. That's so funny though. I think that's where you came from.
Yeah. I mean, imagine that, dude. Like just like the real life version of that.
I was just reading an article the other day that was talking about some scientists are saying that it might just be a 50-50 that we're
in a dimension
or a program.
Yeah. In a dimension. Definitely
in a dimension.
In a simulation.
Yeah, in a simulation, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's way more than 50-50. Because, I mean, I guess if you think about it, it makes sense. Like, if we got to a point where we can make the universe in a computer, we would do it, right?
Well, that's just the thing, is if you think about it, if a computer, you can put in the, and maybe I'm talking on my ass, I don't know what I'm talking about, but like in a computer, you could put in
all the time for
a physics generator, right? And you can put physics to match what we have here, and a machine in that physics generator that you build would work properly, right? Because it's all these numbers. So you could say that the numbers could be whatever you want, you could change them, and the physics there's still like laws of physics, but the way that the machine would work would be different, or the way the machine had to be designed would be different, right? So I think it could be something along those lines too, where it's like, I don't know, this is a very extended metaphor, but yeah, basically it could just be different paths, I guess. Whatever. I lost it there. I don't want to talk about fucking theoretical physics. We can get into quantum entanglement, and I'm just like, you know what, let's hit the brakes on this fucking train.
Hit the brakes for sure, because that shit's crazy.
Yeah.
And I love it, because that's why we have cell phones, and why we have computers. But that's not what I went to. I didn't go to school for that. Did you go to school for that, David?
I didn't go to college. I had a bunch of time.
I didn't go to college either. I barely went to high school. So.
You know what happens when you don't go to college? You have all kinds of time. I've done all kinds of things.
You can Google it instead.
Yeah, it's tough to be really, really good at recording on your computer.
Recording on your computer.
I can play bass really well. But I don't have a degree. No degree.
That's fine, David.
I can hang out with people who have degrees, and I can talk. We can talk educated together.
Have theoretical conversations.
Well, you want. Let's get into this, because I have a lot of passionate feelings about education.
All right.
I was gonna say, I really don't feel like I'm uneducated. I feel like I'm just self-educated with the things that I care about.
Yeah, I mean that's what the internet is. You don't need to go to school.
But there's people who don't go to college and they don't learn anything.
And they just
So when I say those kind of jokes, it's because I've worked very hard for many years on
There's a lot of
a
people that go
certain
to
set of
college that don't
skills.
know a lot of things too.
That's true. I mean, it's not like I never went. Every time I'd go, I'd just burn out on it. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, school kind of sucks.
I remember a lot of people when you start fresh, it's like kids who are fresh out of high school who are only there so their parents will pay their car insurance. It's like stuff like that where they don't deserve to be there.
It's most of the people.
It's hard for people who have to pay for it themselves when there's people like that who.
And when you think about how many
coast
people are actually like actual engineers and actual like I don't know astronomers and stuff, it's not a lot compared to how many people go to school. So.
And that's just the thing is like there's a lot of fields where like engineering is a field where like a bunch of people go in, but there's so many people that go in that you have to be super good at what you do.
And you see the math and you're like, what the fuck is this?
And then the other thing is I feel like we've been sold kind of we had a blank check that bounced. Like, do you remember growing up and the whole time they were like, just go to college, you can do anything in college, and then you'll get a job, like a high-paying job? People said that my whole life, where they're like, if you just go to college and get a degree in whatever, you'll have a high-paying job, like you can go and get a thing.
Yeah,
but it's really not fucking like that.
No, not at all.
I mean, yes, if you go there for something specific and you have a good industry, you're going to get a good job, but if you go in there for something that I can compete with you with, you're in trouble, you know what I mean?
Same thing, like basically mixing. If you go to recording school,
it could be totally helpful, but it could also be completely useless.
Yeah, because I mean, people leave recording school and still suck at mixing, because
No.
they know how to. They learned on a fucking analog thing, and then people use computers now.
That's true. We could be dated.
And then
there's a theory that the things that we've learned in high school from how long that we've been out are now obsolete. Like our education is now like half obsolete.
Right after we left.
Yep.
So, like the year right after they changed the whole thing to something else. I don't know. They teach different things to kids now. So.
Yeah. So we're actually antiquated.
And we don't even use the math. Are we engineers?
And the math that I do use, here's what I will say about math. I've taken really high, like not super high level math exams, but like let's say up to calculus, right?
Calculus.
And for the most part, if you know pretty much what you're talking about, you can come to reasonable conclusions to find things.
Especially with like multiple choice questions.
Right, well, multiple choice, you can always back test answers and things.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of stuff like that that's very helpful. Like math, if you have a good concept, you can figure it out again. You know what I mean? It's not impossible to crack it. But whereas
knowing numbers isn't bad, but
English I think is one of the most underrated things in schools.
English is one of the things.
Because the way that you speak and the way that you write is a direct reflection on your inner thoughts.
Yeah, that's true. And like you need to be able to convey your thoughts right to other people.
Exactly.
That's a big thing. And
but you know,
even history I think is pretty big too.
The thing I think is kind of messed up about English though is I don't think we have as open of a view on English language in schools as we should. I think we highly respect the European ancient way of writing and speaking, where we have like this proper British English.
Yeah,
this is the correct way to speak, even though there's so many new words that just are constantly developed, and words will never describe what they're supposed to.
Yeah, no.
Because there's always other things that you associate with certain words.
There's so much nuance to feelings.
Exactly. If I said I went to jail versus I went to prison, even though there's associations of prison of like dark, deep, nasty shit.
Yeah.
And jail is more like you stay overnight, even though you both of them are, a cage.
Yeah.
It's like there's connotations behind the words. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff.
And the your, and the there, and
like there should be a higher
it's crazy.
mark on like the quality of thought rather than the or like the clarity of the thought rather than on the language and maybe the grammar to a degree, more like syntax, like you can't have things out of order and obviously.
Yeah,
but like as far as like the specifics of
like the words themselves, yeah.
Or like you can't
Even
start a
building
word
sentences.
with and, like a period, space, capital, and, right? It's
Yeah.
like a run on. It's like allow someone to use that if it's going to convey their
Their
thoughts
right?
properly, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's going to give you a way of reading it that will be more like what they would speak it to you. That's going to have an effect that's different.
But that's why people have problems with English, because I think we put too much I don't know, too much complexity into it, you know? Like,
Right, and it's serving
In
an
a way.
ancient system. Math hasn't changed.
no.
And it
can't-
won't. It shouldn't. It shouldn't change. But English changes every time we speak.
Because every landmass has different fucking languages.
Right.
You know, like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like Spanish, it seems like it's so much more feeling based. Like, you can say the same shit, just say it in a different way. Like, you yell
It's
it.
so powerful too, right?
Whatever,
To be able to do that. I remember I took French through high school. I took 2 years of
Yeah,
French.
almost every other language is like that.
It's interesting to when you have a little bit of another language of how much it will affect you. Because I
Yeah.
grew up speaking Spanish. We're learning Spanish, taking classes like on my own time to learn Spanish.
That's great.
And then when I went into French as a high school student, it fucked me up so bad having all the Spanish. Because at first it kind of helped, but then the Spanish started bleeding in.
Yeah,
And
it
then
goes-
later the French would bleed into the Spanish. And I would start mixing up vocabulary. And obviously I'm not trilingual to this day. So,
Yeah.
you know, it didn't end up doing that. But
I was getting decent with Spanish in high school, but all my friends are hella, like,
way advanced with it.
they're just Mexican.
Yeah, they spoke it.
So they spoke Spanish, yeah, and their parents didn't even speak English. And I, like, didn't conversate with them, but we just, like, I don't know, they called me, like, their son and shit, and I couldn't even talk to them. It was weird. Like,
That's
I
funny.
couldn't speak Spanish, they couldn't
Yeah.
speak English. And I don't know, like, it's, the connection is more what it's about, is basically what we're saying. So,
I had a lot of kind of relationships similar to that, where it's like when I lived in LA, especially, there's a lot of dudes who are like super from Mexico,
Yeah.
you know, Mexican, and we would be able to communicate working at restaurants and stuff like that just through just dicking around. A lot of like just other kind of communication. You know what I mean? Like you can tell if you're friendly, or you can do like a little joke and just
Oh,
like
yeah.
goof with someone without having to communicate. And then of course there's very few things they do know in Spanish, so
Yeah.
I would use those, and they love that.
oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Like donde está la baños? Baños or something
Yeah.
like that? Bathroom. Where's the bathroom? Uno más cerveza.
Another beer.
Yeah, I'd like another beer. And then the king one is me gustan tus nalgas.
I don't know, I like something.
It means I like your butt cheeks, which is phenomenal because with those 3 phrases you can pretty much do whatever you need with those guys. Like they're gonna crack up.
Yeah.
All you have to do is come back and say those 3 things in random order.
Oh my god. The hilarious David.
Yeah, I like that though. I had a good time.
Alright, David, here it comes. There's been a big change,
Okay,
and I'm not vegetarian anymore.
is this for real?
I'm being dead serious.
This is for real life.
I ate a steak this morning.
This morning for breakfast? You went all the way out. Well, how do you feel about this?
Not full steak. Basically, I'm not gonna eat commercial meat
Okay.
at all.
You just go pure organic, like the highest level organic?
We go to a farm,
Okay.
seen the cows and everything.
No way.
I bought the meat from there, and that's the only place I'm gonna eat the meat and buy the
No
meat.
shit.
Yeah. And I want to make sure that animals are treated right,
Right.
because the rotation of the cows and stuff actually feeds the soil, and it makes it
Yeah,
better.
yeah. Well,
Instead
you
of-
know, my mom has
Like,
like
I'll take your meat too.
Yeah.
I would buy it off you guys, whatever. And
We
that's-
probably just give it. We have whole cows worth the last couple of years.
yeah,
so.
that's it, exactly. That's
Yeah.
another thing. Eventually, I want to hunt because. All right, people. Oh shit. Where you guys at?
There it is.
We ran into a
Massive technical difficulties.
technical difficulty that spawned in our mic dying.
Is it on? Is the display on?
Stupid display.
There we go.
And I don't know how much worse the quality of the audio is. And I have a jacket on now. I'm not taking it off.
Man, a lot of stuff happened since the camera went out here.
Oh yeah, so basically the camera was dying. The battery was dying for the camera and for the mic.
Separate batteries, both dying.
And we did like a good 30 minutes, and there was just a hissing sound over the whole thing. So those are gone. And David was just talking about English and how the ancient Europeans used to use it and how we still use that like that?
I think my point, and now we're re going over the points fast as we can here. I believe my point was that we use like very old style of like what's right on English, kind of like how math, it's always been the same math, same principles apply, it's like there's rules. And we treat English the same way, even though English is a constantly evolving and it's a changing thing. And I don't know if I already touched on it because I didn't see exactly where we left off. But I remember trying to explain like how words inherently fail what they're trying to describe because they have different meanings behind words that are associated different between people. So like you might hear a certain word and have a negative association with it where I don't have a negative association with it, and it creates an adverse effect in your mind.
Yeah.
Where it's not intended to. So even though I use the word with one idea that I'm trying to convey, it could convey a slightly different idea in your head. So that's kind of the thing. Even though you could describe super specific things, you know,
over text or something.
right?
But if you were in person, it would be a lot. You get the feeling and
the body language, the eye contact, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things.
They say words are like 30% of human like interaction. Like when we interact, like a lot of it's body language, a lot of it's eye contact, and then about 30% is words. But
oh my god. Yes.
What else were we talking about? Did we cover anything else important, or is it all?
Here, let's ask one of these questions. I don't even know what we were talking about after that on the videos that are gone now into the ether.
Don't even worry about it. It's gone.
But now I'm gonna ask one of these questions to wrap this up a little bit. I'm trying to find a good one.
Pick your favorite one. I definitely want to hit the last one, but I'll explain it. So do it.
Okay, we'll do
one
one.
the last one, and then we'll talk about that one.
Yes. Okay. We'll do this first one.
Okay.
What big name band would you tour with?
All right, like super commercial band.
Yes. Well, no, not super. Just any band.
Any big like everyone knows it band.
It doesn't even have to be like it could be big in metal. I know big in metal doesn't mean big in everybody else, but just a big band, famous band.
You know, one of the bands that's been around forever for me that I really like is Protest the Hero. And even though I don't feel like the music would blend as much, I would love to be able to actually spend the time. And I think the other thing is, if you were to go to a tour and you enjoy the people you play with, it's exciting to be able to watch them every night.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking about I would enjoy watching them at every different crowd and all the different scenarios, I think.
But you would be replacing the bassist, so you wouldn't see him.
Oh, what? I'm playing in the band?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
That's what I mean.
Nah, I still do Protest the Hero. I like Protest the Hero a lot. I would love to be your bassist. Also, Pliny. Love Pliny. I would totally be your
Pliny's
bassist.
another one.
Or if we want to try something a little new, Tosin, hit me up.
Oh, they don't even have a bass. You're not replacing anybody.
That's what I'm saying. I'll just be an addition to that shit.
Just be an addition. You're thinking straight, David.
I bought all of your etudes for the selective picking. I could totally do it. I selective pick now because of you, Tosin.
Tosin the God. What is that flashing? Oh, okay. I would obviously pick Periphery.
Periphery was clearly got to be one of them. We've seen it so many times.
Yeah, I was thinking there'd be a lot of bands like Pliny is another one that's nothing.
Love Pliny. Also, Volumes. It seems like a very fun band to
Just
play.
any of those bands, like I wouldn't say no to any of them. Veil
Born of
Maya,
Osiris, Veil Maya.
any of
Yeah.
them. They asked, I'd be like, yeah. The
I was watching the Kiesel live on Instagram today, and they were showing off the Veil Maya's guitarist.
oh, the pink one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's I like Kiesel, so I understand. Jackson's really nice too, though. Either is really good, but I understand going to Kiesel makes sense.
There's a lot of good guitarists, but there's only the best number one top guitar. Kiesel.
Kiesel.
That's it. You're looking for the top guitar, the top S?
Top S.
Don't even look further. If you're going through alphabetically, stop at K. Let me just tell you that.
Because what's after K?
Who cares? Who cares what's after K? Because we got Kiesel and K.
Is it L? It's L, right?
What do you mean?
For
God.
losers.
Don't make me. Oh, I like that. Don't make me sing the alphabet on the podcast.
L is not after K, it is now. Just like you said, language changes, David.
Language changes. We take out some letters and move them around.
Just moving around.
I went to
Different
a performing arts elementary school, so I don't have almost any early American history from like 5th grade. Like, you know, when you like learn about like people who signed the Declaration. I had to learn that all later. Never learned the months of the year in order and anything. Like, I don't know when they're supposed to teach you that, but they never did that for me.
That was 1st grade for me.
Yeah, never did that. I learned the months of the year at like 15. I'm not even kidding. Like, I knew them at some point. I knew all of the months. But to be able to list all 12 in order was like impossible for me.
That's crazy.
They never taught me that.
Too. We used to make fun of him so hard.
And then what was that? I had another one too that was pretty bad. That they just never taught me.
So I was like, hey David, it's August, right? What's after August? And you're like, November?
Yeah, just I would have to go 10. And I go 10 is after August, right? I could use the people's birthdays and stuff.
Not even 10. It's 9.
Shit, you got me. September is 9. Yeah, I'm fucked. See, that's how bad my education was growing up. My months are terrible, dude. They're really bad.
Oh shit!
See, you just called me out right now on how bad my months are.
Just got you, David. That was your fault, not mine.
My brother's birthday's in August too.
My birthday's in August. That's the reason why I know better.
That one's off reflex for sure.
Still, if someone was like, "What's 3?"
That's so funny.
I was have to think, but I know it's March.
Yeah, I missed a bunch of stuff. I missed a bunch of stuff that I was supposed to get.
That's okay. But what I was gonna say about the periphery thing too is that last night I had a dream that Mark called me at one of our practices.
No.
He was like, "Hey Howard, how do you compress this?" And I was like, "What? Hell yeah, okay." And I told you, I was like, "Hey, I'm talking to Mark right now."
No way.
And I was just like,
that's pretty exciting.
I didn't question why he had my number, but.
All right, so we have a buddy, Anthony DeLeese, and I love this story because it's completely 100% true. He had a birthday where his mom. Okay, I'm trying to think of the preface. We saw Periphery live. We went and we saw Jake Bowen outside the show answering people's questions, just hanging out. And he went up and we got a picture of my buddy Anthony with Jake Bowen, and he asked him a question about like how is Thanksgiving weird having John Petrucci there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it weird having another like superstar, like guitar player, aficionado in the family? Is it kind of like you're like, well, I had an album release too. You know, he was kind of asking about that. And of course, he said it was supportive, not negative. It was a good thing to have.
But they were that close in terms of like.
I don't know. He just said having. I don't think they were like. Because I think they're hanging out every.
I think they're related by marriage, not.
Yeah, exactly. It's not super tight.
He's married to his aunt or something.
But still, that means that there's some awkward dinner where like.
Yeah, if the aunt is close, that means he's there sometimes. So.
That's what I'm saying. Just to have that would be wild. But anyway, so he has this picture with Jake Bowen. And for his birthday, his mom gives him a coffee mug with the picture of him and Jake Bowen. And he said, in his imagination, when he saw this coffee mug, he just imagined that like one day Jake Bowen came over to his house. Like it was like when you have a fantasy. Yeah. It was like their tour bus broke down outside or whatever, something stupid.
And he's like,
but he just imagined Jake Bowen came in and he like made him coffee, and he pulled out and he was like, and Jake Bowen saw the mug and was just like.
Like, I'm
hold
leaving.
up, yeah, exactly. Like, why do you have a picture of us on a mug? What are you looking at here? You got a zipper, dude. You got a air flap for your pits. Pit flap. Whoa,
it really
hide
is.
drugs in there, dude.
It's not like it really is just a hole.
It's a pit flap for sure. Breathing when it's hot.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Perks. Do you have one on both sides or just one?
Both sides.
Nice. That would be weird if it was just one.
It would. People's right pit sweats more than left pit.
Could be. You got a couple stories out of us, so we recovered a little bit of time here on this podcast.
What is this artist highlight thing you're talking about?
Actually, I was thinking maybe we could throw out on the podcast a couple of the musicians and stuff that we've been listening to, the people that we've turned on in our free time.
Okay.
Just kind of as a way to promote someone else. Maybe even in the bio we can put in like a link to their YouTube page or something like that.
If they even need it.
If they even need it, true.
What is this band? There's this band that Kat listens to that's really cool. And they're not as big as I thought. They only have like 1,000 followers, and I thought they were way bigger than that. But I think I followed them on the. Oh, Johari. Yep. Johari's really good.
How do you spell that? Promote that for the people. Show it to the camera.
Johari.
We'll throw their link to the YouTube in the description
There
here.
you go.
Nice.
Dance Gavin Dance's new album I've been listening to like religiously. I listen to Periphery all the time. I've been listening to Silent Planet a little bit more.
Okay.
I've been listening to some throwback Sleeping with Sirens every now and then.
Wow. Way throwback.
Every now and then I like bringing around Asking Alexandria. It's been a while for that band though.
Is it nostalgic at this point?
Yeah, it's more for nostalgia. I mean, it's really good though still, but
Right.
yeah. I don't know, fucking Velma I always listen to also.
You got a solid one at the start there, especially someone who deserved it.
Yeah,
Smaller band.
that one was a surprising thing for me. That's why I said to other guys, they don't even need it.
You know, I actually found a smaller band that I actually really like, but I would have to look them up too. I'll do that as well. I was going to say, the band that I was thinking of in mind was, I've been listening to the Dally Thundering
Oh yeah, they're
Concept
really,
Project?
Concept
I think it's Concept, right? The Dally Thundering Concept?
Project.
Project.
It's Project.
Anyways, these guys are fucking phenomenal.
They are really
I've gone through the whole discography now, and I think I went through a couple of the albums again on the instrumental because I had to hear it without the vocals on top. But I've been really enjoying that. Soma, our drummer, turned me on to them, of course.
He listens to a lot of music. I'm interested in what band this is that David found.
So the way I found it was some goofy. It was like some Reddit. Okay, I found them. Their name is the Monochromacy Project. Monochromacy. Monochromacy Project. But they're like Malaysian.
Oh, okay.
And they're in some sort of poll of like the best band, and they said they posted on like some progressive metal forum on Reddit, and I'm very skeptical, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like I'm just like, oh great.
You always run into that.
But I'm also like, okay, let me give them a listen because I could empathize with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on and I listened to it, and I was actually kind of like, okay, these guys aren't terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm really surprised with this. And I watched like a playthrough and like a little bit of one of the tracks, all demos. Keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went and I voted for them on their poll or whatever.
Yeah.
And I didn't think much of it. And then
Good Samaritan.
later, I was sitting on my computer doing something, and I was just letting something play on YouTube, like an automatic playlist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh shit, what is this? It was that band.
Crazy.
And it was just something else that just really caught my attention. But the Monochromacy Project, I'm gonna guess that's the name of it. But I was jamming out to that recently, and that's a smaller band that deserves the attention.
All the small bands deserve attention.
Well, you know, the thing is, it's just harder to get it if you're a small band, even if you deserve it.
Even if you deserve it. I think a lot of people deserve a lot of things that they don't get, sadly.
All right, not to burn any bridges too hard here, but who would you say is a band that you think is overrated? Like people like them too much, like they should like another band. Do you feel like there's a band that's just overliked even though they're not that good?
Any band that sucks live, probably.
Really? So if they can't pull it off live, that kind of ruins it for you?
Yeah, because that's kind of lying, right?
To a degree. Depends on what they're doing too. If they're saying they can play guitar this fast and they can't.
Maybe a lot of the bands that have, I don't know, like, I guess other people, like, write it, but not in terms of how...
like ghostwriters or something?
Yeah, but not really in terms of structure. Like, even for, like, pop songs, I respect the people that have somebody write it
to perform that
and able to perform it because their voice is so good and so fit for it. That's a lot different. Because
Right.
that's still, like, them trying. And they would still sound hella good when you see them live. But I'm talking about more like, if you had a drummer that's really good, play drums on your album, and your drummer kind of sucks.
Right, you had a different guy play it or something. I get what you're saying.
Or the singer isn't good at singing in key, and then you make the singing seem like it's really like good, and then you can't sing live. And I don't know. It's just yeah.
I'm really trying to think of a group that's like totally overrated.
But yeah, it's like overrated as in like they 100% don't deserve it because they didn't work hard for it. I'm trying to think too. I know there's things like that for a fact.
It's hard to say. Even with like the most unappealing music and stuff, there's still a degree of skill or something that went into it.
And you can still respect it somehow. Go with something like because the skill that they had to put into it and the time, and then like the fact that they got people to like their music so much, that's already respectable enough.
Yeah, I know a guy who like when I was younger, he was like the best player I've ever seen. He was like on a camping trip, right? He brought this guitar, and he was really fucking good. And he was telling me something because I told him like I play in bands and stuff, and I love music and I want to do it forever. And he was like, "What you got to realize is people, they're like, people are so good at this, but the experts, like the worst professional, is a billion times better than the best amateur.
Yeah.
Like the level of separation between a professional and an amateur is so large that it's like
it takes
any one of them. Yeah, they could be good. But I'm trying to think of someone who there's honestly too much of a following, like that's disproportionate to the music or the skill. I don't know.
Any of the people that aren't even playing anymore.
I want to talk shit. That's what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to talk shit with you guys.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I'm trying to think of a band that really.
Go ahead and roast the most. Oh God, they're gonna say us. I can't even say that.
Okay, look. I can't even think of a band whose music actually just. There's a lot of bands that I do hear where they just kind of suck. But I mean, they're usually local bands.
Ooh, I have some shade to throw. I'm not that into Billie Eilish.
Okay, no, I see that. That is shade, but not too much.
I think it's overhyped. I think she's alright. I don't think she's like terrible. I don't think her music is like completely devoid of anything. I just feel like she has so much attention.
She does.
And for something that I don't feel like is crazy to me.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a lot of the stuff isn't that crazy. Like, I feel like out of all the pop people, the only people that did things that are different. I mean, Billie does things that are different, so that's what I like.
A lot of the sounds and the production are different and stuff.
And her voice is different. Like, she doesn't try to like, I don't know, just over pop it out, I guess. And then
her personality is very different too. She's very modest compared to
and she doesn't. Yeah, she just doesn't try to do something that everybody else is doing. So that's what's respectful about it. But she does have a lot of like. I don't know, she got super big. Super quick.
Industry plant.
Super quick.
Industry plant. I am a firm believer that there's a lot of people who get signed on to labels that are owned by Geffen or Interscope or major labels, but they're just smaller labels, so you can give people smaller advances when you have a project.
Okay.
And also it shows growth. Like Paramore is very popular. Like that's a band that I grew up. I really enjoy Paramore and stuff.
Yeah, I love Paramore.
And so their whole deal was from the very beginning. Geffen got involved, I believe, or Interscope or EMG or something. But basically, like from the very start, she had an agent for acting. She wanted to be an actress or an actor, I think is the correct term nowadays. But anyways, she wanted to get into acting, and her agent was like, "Aren't you in a band?" And she was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well,
that's what it is.
You're going to be a rock star then." And so the band that she was in, when they were all like freshmen in high school, they got picked up by Fueled by Ramen, which was an independent label owned by a major label. And that's not really independent, is it?
No.
So they got picked up by them, did 2 years of tour, came back as juniors to their school, which is super weird. That is 2 years.
That's so crazy, man. But they were freshmen and they were.
But they all could afford their own houses by 19.
Yeah.
Super weird.
That's so crazy. I didn't know they were that young. I knew they were even high school.
Oh yeah, they were super young when they got big. It was the drummer and the guitarist, I think, were the biggest deals for the writing. And then Haley Williams had a really phenomenal voice. She came from I believe Tennessee, and she had a lot of the church singing and stuff like that. So she had practiced her whole life growing up singing. So she just had the pipes for it, and then obviously she does all the pop stuff now. But back in the day, she was a force to be reckoned with that 2000s
the
pop, rock, grunge, whatever you call that, whatever that area was.
Yeah, they have like their newest album still has like bass and guitar and stuff again. Like it was getting more
so produced though. It's not the same thing.
No, it's not at all. That's not even close. It doesn't really sound like a band. It's more like. But it is. You can still tell that it is actual guitar, and we've seen them live, and they played those songs.
Not to talk shit, actually, but it is the guitarist that was previously kicked out, and the bassist who was kicked out for a drug problem.
Oh wait, was it the main guitarist? Is what you talking about?
So the main guitarist was brothers with the drummer.
With the drummer, yeah.
And they were both, like, I think, really religious, and her lyrics were starting to get a little off course for them.
Yeah, the drummer left and the guitarist both left. But
And they were like, okay, we're out. And then they
I
brought
think they're both back
in.
now, though.
No, they're not.
The drummer for sure is.
No.
Yes, he is.
No way.
I watched them play live.
Folks, I gotta check this shit out. I gotta look at this.
think the
I have
guitarist
not
is
heard
too.
anything of this. This is
no.
shocking news for me.
He didn't. Okay, the album before this album, he was.
They
gone.
ran out of money.
And
I don't know. I'm just teasing. I'm just saying it's been a couple of years, so it could be likely that if they had a stash of money, it
and
might
she's going
be
through some
gone
shit
now.
too. She also explained that. But
And she was changing her hair all kinds of
Yeah.
crazy ways. She was wearing really ridiculous makeup. But
as of 2019, he was in the band, or whenever we seen.
wow, I gotta look that up. I'll
she
check that out.
She was like, "This is our old drummer. He's back." And then she was saying that the
His
guitarist.
name was Zach.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Yeah, she said his name, and she said all their names. But I mean, she was also saying I think that the guitarist was also gone. He came back too.
Because they brought in, I think their old the guitarist name was like Tyler. They brought him back in at some point, and then the bassist they had heavy problems with, and I guess it was a drug
He's probably
related
the
thing.
same. He's probably just gone.
I think he's still there.
He's still there. Okay.
I mean, granted, I didn't even know the drummer was back or anything.
Who even knows anymore?
Who even knows anymore?
With this shit happening right now, there probably is going to be a lot of bands that aren't a thing anymore.
You know, that's a great question. How many bands are going to be around? For us, I think, personally speaking, with like the quarantine stuff, at first we thought this might be a step back for our live shows, but we'll have a huge step forward for our writing. And just how crazy isolation of the quarantine was, I don't feel, and plus we're in the midst of moving and stuff, I don't feel like we got nearly as much done as what we really expected.
Oh no, not at all.
I feel like it was a lot
We're picking
more
up a little bit,
difficult
though.
than we expected, but we're catching up in the ending now, and we're definitely getting it done.
But
But
they can get it done. Don't worry, guys.
man, what a trip to get there!
But we have been the Gentlemen's Club podcast.
That's it, folks. What else could you ask from us? You know, we try to catch it back up. We told some fun stories here, talked about some good stuff. We had a little bit of Spider-Man in the background for you. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Hey, we got the little American flag. Election's coming up.
America.
God bless America. Let's see if we can make it another 4 years before self-annihilation.
Hopefully fucking asteroidal annihilation.